get ready.
This is the voice of Wayne America.
Lighten up, Francis.
With your host,
Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here.
Mike Carnes.
How do you measure yourself with other golfers?
My height.
Only at WayneAmerica.com.
The supernova's gonna kill us all.
Okay, this guy is the real zero, that's true. Let's just think back when you guys were freshmen, huh?
.com.
Greetings from Wayne America. This is the Voice of Wayne America podcast, an exclusive here at WayneAmerica.com. I'm your host, Mike Carnes, and every week here on The Big Show, we like to sit down with somebody who has some kind of connection to the best town in all of America, and that, of course, is right here in Wayne America. I want to thank our sponsors, including AKA 142 Media, and also your business can be mentioned here as well. You can give me a ring at mike@mikeycproductions.com. Actually, that's an email. It's not a ring. But either way, you can get a hold of me there, and we can talk more about having your business sponsored here on the Voice of Wayne America podcast. You know, it's August, and you know what that means. It means it's pretty much the unofficial end of summer. We're getting to the start of Husker football season, and of course, it's time to start school. Sorry, kids. Sorry to bring you down on that one, but the truth is what it is. August is school time, and that means the start of the 2017-18 school season is fast upon us. And I figured with that thought in mind, we would sit down with the superintendent of schools at Wayne Community Schools, Mark Lenihan, to talk about the coming school year. Mark, it seems like it seemed like it was like a couple weeks ago we were just talking about the end of last school year, and here we are with the start of the new one already.
Yeah, summers always go fast, just like school years go fast. It's, we'll get started, and before we know it, Thanksgiving and Christmas will be here, and things seem to fly when you're having fun, I guess. So, yeah. But summer does. It's not a real. It's kind of a short window of time that it's nice to get away, and we always have things we got to do to wrap up a school year, and then things slow down a little bit. But as soon as Chicken Days hits, and then of course the county fair, which was just over the weekend, we know it's time to gear up again and get going. So.
Yeah, it's school year going to get going here in a couple weeks, and like you said, seems like the summer just moves lightning fast after the school year gets out. It just seems like it doesn't, it's not nearly long enough a vacation, but it's. I know everybody's looking forward to get back to school. At least the teachers, the administrators are for the most part looking forward to it, and so a big year come up here in Wayne with the Wayne Community Schools. A lot of new stuff going on this year, and of course the thing that I think we've talked about quite frequently in the community, and we've mentioned here on WayneAmerica.com is the new ag program that's starting up here at Wayne High School, and which as I think about it, we're in the middle of ag country, and it kind of seems strange that we don't have an ag program or an FFA chapter, but we're going to have one here. Tony Rasmussen coming in to get that started for you, and I know that there's a lot of people that I've talked to are really excited about the school offering this opportunity for people who have an interest in agriculture.
I think it'd be great. We're really excited about it. An opportunity for our kids that, as you mentioned, we haven't had, and it's kind of long overdue. But the timing was right, and it seemed to fit in with our program and some of the things that we wanted to offer for the future. And so we're excited. I know the kids are. There's a lot of kids signed up for classes. I'm not sure the exact number, but I've heard it's close to 100 students that are signed up for high school classes. Wow. And then, of course, having a local FFA chapter, too, will be a really good thing for our students and for the community to have something else that they can kind of hang their hat on and show a lot of pride in. So we're excited about it. We think we really were fortunate in finding Miss Rasmussen to take this on. She's already been around this summer. I think she had a float in the Chicken Day Parade, and she's been around working, getting to know some of the students and parents and community members, and there's a lot that goes into starting a program just with, you think about curriculum and resources, textbooks, all of those things. So she's been working a lot on that this summer, and I know that we're excited to hit the ground and get going with it and see what happens.
Now, I guess obviously this is something that predates your time here as superintendent, but that is kind of an interesting question: is why doesn't a community like Wayne, that's in the middle of ag country, with as much student interest as there is, and as many kids that come from family farms around here, why there wasn't some type of agriculture related curriculum or FFA program or something like that? Why that hasn't been in place
Right.
here until now?
I don't know the answer to that. I can only guess. I know that there's the Wayne County Ag group that meets. They had always met, and I think there's some natural things for students to get involved with. There's a 4-H organization in town. There's of course the Wayne County Fair that's right here, and so there were opportunities for kids that had that interest. But otherwise, I really don't know, other than the fact that it became an opportunity for us within our program when we had some movement, and Mr. Hicks, of course, had retired a couple years ago, and we just decided, let's see if we can fill this. One of the issues with schools was finding a teacher, really, legitimately. There weren't a lot of educators going into ag. And there are more now. In fact, we have heard that this coming year there will be over 30 graduates that have degrees to teach ag, where last year there were only 9 or 10. So I think you're starting to see some interest in students going to school to become ag teachers. And before there wasn't as much that interest, and I know it was tough to find people. We found Miss Rasmussen. We were able to hire her last November, and so we felt pretty fortunate that we were able to get on the ball early and get started on that to find the right person, because I'm sure she would have been snapped up somewhere else. So a lot of it might have to do with that too, but it seems like things just kind of happen for a reason, and the timing was right, and we're looking forward to the program, and we know it's going to add a lot of really good positive things to our school.
Now, I guess the next question is then where do you put this ag program in the existing school building the way things are now?
Well, that's we're in the middle of that. That whole area is under construction. We do have a couple of new classrooms going in the area that the career tech area is, which not many people ever got down to that area because it was in took me 2 years to figure out where it was. It's just kind of back in the corner over there, and so that's part of our renovation project this summer, is having a classroom for both Mr. Cantrell and Miss Rasmussen, along with a shop area, kind of a wood shop area. And then of course we still have our metals and our automotive shop that is out by the garage out there. So we will have a classroom for both in a lab area. Unfortunately, with construction, anytime you remodel, it seems to take longer than you want it to. You run into things that you didn't know were hidden in the walls, and so we're going to have to start the year with our teachers working out of temporary classrooms for hopefully only a week or two. But we do have nice new renovated classrooms down there, and there will be a new entrance to that area right off a hallway that's much more common, a lot more traffic. And so once that happens, we're definitely going to open the doors to the public and allow them to come down and take a look, because it'll be a nice area for classes and nice big classrooms and shop area too.
Yeah, I've had an opportunity to talk with Miss Rasmussen, and she's a fantastic young lady. I can't wait for the people in the community who haven't had a chance to meet her yet to meet her, because she's a really neat young lady, and I think she's got a lot of goals that she wants to accomplish with this new FFA program with the ag curriculum here at the school. And I know she was out at the county fair. I think I saw her just about every day out there, and she was either in the cow calf area or amongst the sheep and goats and the pigs and in the pens down there. So she was a near constant presence out there, and I know she was talking to a lot of people here. So I think she's going to be a fantastic addition to the curriculum here at Wayne Community Schools. Now, you mentioned the renovations that are going on, and the locker room project is a part of that this summer too. And I know that's something that's has been long overdue for the school to get those locker rooms upgraded. And talk a little bit about how that's going.
Well, it's going slow and steady, I guess might be a way to say. What I've said to people that have asked is, anybody that's remodeled their kitchen or their basements or anything that you might have to do with remodeling, they'll understand that usually it takes longer than you want it to or think it's going to. And so when the project began last spring, There were a couple of unexpected, not major issues, but just certain things that set them back a little bit. And the work's been very steady this summer, and they've been pushing and pushing. And so we're getting close. The entire area won't be ready for fall practice. So we've got some backup plans that are going to work out fine for the first week or two. And then our goal is really to try and get the locker room areas ready to go within hopefully about a week of school. And so we were hoping it would be ready by the time school started, but it's just not going to be. And there's certain things that have to happen before other things can happen that they're still plugging away at. I think they're working on the floors today, which is a really positive step. The boys' side, they started in the boys' side, so that actually is a little bit ahead. And so what we're planning on doing is hopefully they'll get those wrapped up here in the next week to 10 days, and we'll be able to use both of those areas for our fall sports. And then they'll move over and finish the girls' side, and I think by Labor Day weekend for sure we'll have everything that we need. So it's just a little behind. I don't even know if I'd say behind. I just think it's like we talked about, summer is a real short window. There's not a lot of time for projects like this. And the contractors have been here, they've been working hard, the subs have been showing up. It's not for lack of effort, it's just, things take time when you renovate. They basically gutted that whole area. Any walls that could come down, in other words, they're not support walls, came down. They removed all of the concrete flooring because they had to dig underneath to run new sewer and water lines and electrical things. So it was just a lot of work and a lot of dust, and it was hot, and we all know how that can be too. So, but overall, I know it's going to be a really nice area. It's kind of fun to go down there and just see the difference, even without paint on the walls, and lockers they're not in yet either. So it's kind of fun to see the spaces, and I know the kids will be real happy once they're finished.
Yeah, I know the locker room is something that has been talked about for some time. That work needed to be done to upgrade those facilities, and not only will help out the kids here, but maybe make the school a better option for maybe sub-district basketball,
Right.
volleyball, district wrestling, things like that. Be some opportunities to bring events like that to Wayne.
Absolutely. I mean, it was being able to host those things, are always good. It's positive for not only our school but our community. We bring in people from out of town that typically will maybe go out for dinner after in Wayne or whatever. So it'll be a good area. And really the space down there was just not acceptable as far as just it was outdated. A lot of code issues that weren't life-threatening or real major concerns, but just things that needed to get taken care of. When we always try to look to the future and make sure that our facilities are forward-thinking with our facilities, and I think this is a really positive step, and these locker rooms will be great spaces for the next lots of years.
Yeah, be good to see those rooms once they're finished up. We're talking with Mark Lenihan, the superintendent of schools here at Wayne Community Schools here on the Voice of Wayne America podcast. And I wanted to take a moment to answer the question, what does the AKA in AK 142 Media stand for? It stands for many things, but the most important thing is that it stands for awesome kickin' apps that can be downloaded to your phone or tablet. Whether it's school, your favorite youth sports program, or your local business, AK 142 Media can build an awesome kickin' app that meets your needs. And they have built an awesome kickin' app for the WayneAmerica.com and the Wayne America website. So you have a chance to go onto your smartphone or your tablet and download the Wayne America mobile app there, and you can kind of keep updated on what's going on here on the Wayne America website. For more information on getting the mobile app design, send Kevin an email at kevin@aka142.com and tell him that Mike sent you. That's AKA 142 Media. Awesome kickin' apps. Talking with Mark Lenihan, the superintendent of schools here at Wayne Community Schools here on the Voice of Wayne America podcast. And there are going to be some new faces around the school this year, and the one that obviously I'll be working with a lot with writing sports for the Wayne Herald and doing some stuff here at the school is the new athletic director. Rocky Rule, of course, retired here this past summer after more than 30 years with the school district, and he and his wife Sylvia have both retired. So there's going to be some new teachers here as well. But I did want to talk about the new athletic director. It's somebody that I actually have a prior working interest in. As Dennis Dolliver, who used to be the athletic director at Norfolk High School, and he's going to be stepping in as the athletic director. And let's talk about Dennis, how he came into this position, and what you're looking for out of him.
Yeah, we feel real fortunate to have been able to lure him out of retirement. Actually, Mr. Dolliver worked at Norfolk Public Schools, I believe it was 19 years.
Yeah.
Prior to that, he was 712 principal at Stanton. And so he's kind of got both, because this position is also the junior high principal, which is 7th and 8th grade. It'll be the same position Mr. Rule had. Dennis has just a lot of experience. You know, the hard part when you lose someone leaves your system that has as many years as both Rocky and Sylvia had, is just that experience. And Rocky was so well known, not only in the community obviously, but around the state. And so to be able to have someone come in, such as Mr. Dolliver, who's really just as well known, very involved with NSAA, very involved with Coaches Association. And so, we felt pretty fortunate that he was able to come. He retired from Norfolk. He sat out last year. And I think, what he said to us when he came here to talk to us is he just felt that maybe it was too soon to do that, and he wanted to get back in the game. So we're excited to have him on board. He's been around quite a bit this month, and really start gearing up for the school year again, of course. And I think the good thing is we've got a lot of experience to replace somebody that had a lot of experience. And so that really, I think, is real fortunate, just knowing the ins and outs of running an athletic department, which I don't think people realize how much goes into that behind the scenes, and the types of things that need to happen on a daily basis to make sure that things are taken care of. So I feel really good about having him here, because he's been through it and he did it for a long time. And I think he'll have some new ideas too, which is always good. He ran a great program at Norfolk. I know their athletic program really, the last 5 to 7 years really had been real strong, and I think Dennis had a lot to do with that. So we feel good about the hire, and he's been around. He's real excited, real upbeat and positive, and ready to go.
Yeah, I think that's one thing about when you have somebody like Rocky, who is so ingrained in the community. He's been here for so long, and there's such a familiarity factor with him that when you lose somebody like that, and somebody comes in, it's you really have to have the right person for something like that, and to have somebody that has Dennis's background and experience and track record, I think is a great alternative to having the familiarity of somebody who's been here a long time. And Dennis is familiar. I think there are a lot of people in the community who are involved in sports who are probably familiar with Dennis because of his connection with Norfolk High School and some of the stuff he's done there. I think he has a son who's I think he used to be in Pender.
He's still there.
Still there. Okay, and then he has another son, I think, who's involved in NSAA.
He's head of officials, I believe, for football and basketball, at least basketball for sure.
Yes.
And he works now at the NSA office, and Jason, of course, is superintendent over at Pender. So.
Yeah. So the Dolliver family is very familiar to people in this area. So I think if you're going to have somebody, if you're going to have to replace somebody like Rocky, you certainly can't go wrong with him. I think he's going to be a tremendous asset for the school to have him on board here.
I do too, and I know that. We actually had 5 retirements last year, and so that's just always hard to replace that experience. Mm-hmm. So
it was like 170 years
combined
or something like that.
I don't remember the number I gave, but it was a lot. So we feel good about who we've hired for the other positions, and I don't want to forget anyone, so I'll try my best. We hired Julie Osnes. She'll be the new librarian, and Julie was we kind of stole her from the public library in town, so. I didn't mean to do that, but Julie will be great. She'll do a good job. She's also going to be involved with our one-act play, so that'll be nice to have her. Kylie Cook, who people might be familiar with, she had been working one of the managers at the Fourth Jug, and went to Wayne State College. She'll be replacing Mrs. Rasmussen, Annette Rasmussen, not the one we just hired, but the one that just retired with business, and she's going to do some things with ELL.
Yeah, and then Kylie, of course, her husband is Alex, who's the baseball coach at Wayne State
Correct.
College. So
yep, that's right.
and she was a Wayne State softball player
was
too.
a
So
softball player
very
at Wayne
familiar
State.
in this community.
Yeah. Pam Vanderveen will take Mrs. Rule's place doing English. So we're real happy about that. We also had one of our ELL teachers retire from the elementary school. And so Laura Hochstein, who's Dale Hochstein's wife, Dale's our track coach, biology teacher, she will be doing ELL at the elementary. And then we hired a new sped teacher in the elementary. Her name is Brooke Reeson. She'll be new to town. She just graduated from Midland. And so I think that's why I didn't want to start naming names, because I'm afraid I forgot someone. But we found good people to replace those that are leaving. But of course, you always miss that experience.
Yeah. The experience of those people is something that you can't replace. But I think you've got some good people in those positions. I think that are going to do a fantastic job, and I don't think the school's going to lose a step with that. I think it'll be
I think we'll be doing great. And again, when you get new people, you get new ideas too, and that's okay. You know that you want to help them and understand the culture and not try to do too much new the first year, but just enough to bring in some different ideas. I think it's always good.
Yeah, and then of course with all that that kind of ties into the budget for the coming school year, and that's something that the school board will be working on in the next few weeks, and I guess looking ahead to the fiscal year budget. How's that shaping up for next year?
It's shaping up fine. We've been working on it for most of the spring and summer. We're not with budgeting. We always have to wait until we hear about our property tax assessed land valuation, which we don't find until August 20th. And so it's kind of hard to really say where we're going to be until we know what our revenue, how we can generate revenue, what that's going to be. But for the most part, basically our expenditure lines are pretty much flat to last year. In other words, we really didn't raise anything as far as additional expenditures. We have a new ag program, but that's taking the place of a former teacher. We kind of left that spot open. We did hire a new preschool teacher. That I knew there was one that I didn't think of. Her name is Gwen Frieders, and so she'll be over at the Early Learning Center. And that's been something that we've been operating off of a grant through the Department of Education. We've got one more year on that grant. So we've been able to keep our expenditure line really, within a couple of $1,000s over the last years. So really no increase that way, and then we just gotta wait and see, what those assessed valuations will be before we can start to apply any tax levy information and those types of things. But I think we're in good shape with our budget. We've been pretty wise, I think, about just making sure that we're providing good programs for our students, and maybe eliminating things that we don't do anymore or things that we don't feel are valued. So I think we've done a good job with that. We try to look ahead a couple of years too on our budget and try and anticipate things that could be coming in the future. But otherwise, we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, the state aid situation. I know that the school has not received much in the way of state aid funding for the last several years, and I know that there's been talk about trying to do something about that, so that it seems like all the revenue is going to Lincoln and Omaha and the bigger school districts in that area, and very little of it is coming out here into the rural areas. Do you see anything shaping up in the legislature as far as figuring out something to help out the rural school districts more?
Well, I think it has to. Something needs to change. The equalization formula is what they call it, really has gotten out of balance. Currently, I think it's about 70% of the districts in the state are non-equalized, meaning they don't receive any money from that formula, leaving only 30% of the schools that do. And those schools, that rural schools have a tax base to draw from, and Omaha, Lincoln, Norfolk, the bigger districts, they don't have they don't necessarily draw from that type of property. They draw property tax from the city, but they don't from necessarily from the ag side of things. And what's happened is it's just gotten so out of balance that there's so much reliance for rural schools on their property owners that it's driven up tax levy. It's driven up the amount of support that the local people have to operate our school. And so something needs to change, but I don't know if we try to do the best we can to reduce our expenses, or at least not spend more than we should. Typically, on a typical year, we look anywhere from 2 to 3% as far as growth and expenditures, which really is pretty good, I think, and most schools are right in there. And so we try to do the best we can to keep our expenses down. But the bottom line is the state of Nebraska is 49th in funding to education. And so that's not a good situation, and I think something needs to change on that side to make sure that the revenue is there to support public education. Because on the other side, Nebraska ranks very high in many categories. Graduation rate, I think we were number 1 last year. ACT, we always have very high rankings in ACT and several other categories. Public schools are doing a very good job educating the students in the state of Nebraska. And so the support from the state, and I don't necessarily say that it's not that the state doesn't support public education, because it does. It only has so much revenue to draw, and there's other things that have to get paid for as well. So it's a problem, and I don't know if I had an answer. I might not be sitting here. I'd be writing a book or doing something else, because it's a tough dilemma for not only Nebraska. In fact, I think Nebraska, when I talk to people in other states, they've got big problems too, and probably maybe a little worse than what we have here as far as that goes. So I'm sure next session will be interesting. I hope that really just bringing back some balance, for the rural schools, there's not such a reliance on property tax. I think that would be important, but I also understand the concerns that the urban districts have. They have a lot more kids, and so there's a lot that they have to do, and they also have property tax coming in from their businesses and residential areas, but not quite enough to support what they do. So we'll see what happens next time through. It'll be interesting.
Well, if you want an indication of how rural schools or how public schools like Wayne's are doing, a great indication of that is when you walk in the front door here. There's a kind of a plaque or a setup on the wall there that lists the kids in Wayne High who have done 30 or better on their ACT tests, and there's quite a list of names out there. That's a pretty good indication of what this school is doing, at least as far as educating the students goes.
Well, yeah, we're very fortunate to have some great kids and that work hard and understand the value and importance of education. We look at our NISA scores, which is the Nebraska assessment. We look at our MAP scores, which is more of a national assessment, and we really do a good job there. We have good scores. Our goal is always to be at or above state and national averages, and we always hit that mark. And so it's a testament to the kids, to the families that value education, and to a top-notch teaching staff that really work hard to make sure that they're giving their kids the best education they can. And so I think when you put those things together, you see 6 or 7 names on the 30+ ACT board, and the kids are getting accepted into the places that they want to go, and that, to me, it's kind of hard to nail down, but that's an indication. We don't hear oftentimes, no, I didn't get accepted into such and such a school because I was short on credits or whatever reason. Our kids are getting in to the colleges and the community colleges. They're getting into the ones that they want to, and they're getting a lot of scholarship money to support that too. So to me, that's good indication that, our job is really to get them ready for that next step, and we try. That's kind of our daily purpose, is to make sure we're providing the best education we can for them.
Yeah, you guys are doing a fantastic job. We're talking with Mark Lenihan, the superintendent of schools here at Wayne Community Schools, and want to take a moment to let you know that if you're one of those people that likes to capture your kid's memory with a scrapbook, but you don't have the time to put it all together, that Mikey C. Productions now offers a professional scrapbooking service where we take all those memories and put them together for you in a scrapbook that your family will enjoy for years to come. Send me an email at mike@mikeycproductions.com for more information. And don't forget to check out our photo website to see the fun and amazing images we've captured of your kids and the community during the last several months. There are photos up from the Wayne County Fair that were taken this past week, and it was a lot of fun out there at the fair. So check out some of the images from that this past weekend. Check out our photo website at mikeycproductions.smugmug.com and get your favorite photos from Mikey C. Productions. Closing up shop here for this week's Voice of Wayne America podcast with Mark Lenihan, the superintendent of schools, and we thought we'd talk, since it's the 1st of August, and that means that we're not far away from the first day of school. I think a couple weeks from now we'll be opening the doors for 2017-18.
Yeah, we got teachers coming back on the 14th, which is a Monday, and then that night there's an open house from 5 to 7, so all of the district buildings will be open, the Early Learning Center, elementary school, and this building. We'll show as much as we can with the construction. Some of it will be finished, some not, but we encourage anybody to come to that. It's kind of fun, the kids come back. Over at the junior senior high, I was surprised the first year we did it. I didn't think there'd be a lot of students, and really there was quite a few. They like to get their lockers set up and get their schedules, and teachers are available to talk, and then on the 16th is the day we start. We only go till noon on that day. Really just do it to just kind of get going and get the kids back to school, get the buses running, make sure we know where the routes are, and those types, get all those first day issues out of the way, and then that Thursday we hit the ground running. I think that Friday is probably our tailgate, our Booster Club tailgate party, which is always fun, and softball, they get go. Everybody, all the sports teams get going next Monday. So it'll pick up fast and furious now, and it's we're all ready for it. You can only do so much in the office when the kids aren't here, and we have.
And you want to make sure you get that all done before the kids get here.
Well, that
right?
too, but usually that's by now. If we don't have that done, we're gonna be in trouble. But there's a lot of prep that needs to happen too, and we got a great summer crew. Our maintenance people, our secretaries, business office, technology people, Lindsay and the foundation, they do a lot of work in the summer that kind of gets taken for granted sometimes, just because, when people come back, things are up and running, but there's a lot of maintenance that has to happen. So we're fortunate with the people that work here in the summer and the hard hours they put in. So we're excited. I think it's going to be a great school year, and we're looking forward to having the kids back and getting started.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the upcoming school year this year too. It's always a lot of fun when that first day hits, and it's just there's just a lot more to do during the school year. It's a lot of fun for me when school's in session.
Well, the kids bring a lot of life back to the area, to the school, and to the town. And I always say my favorite day of school still is the first day. I just enjoy seeing the kids coming back, and they're. We really are fortunate. We got great kids here at Wayne, and they're fun, and so we're looking forward to that. And like we talked about before we know it, first semester will be winding down, and we'll start to wonder where the school year is going. And I don't know if it has to do with, for me, with age or what it is, but it seems to be going faster every year.
I agree with you. It doesn't seem like it's I can still remember when I tell my daughter all the time, I can still remember her first day of school, and it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. She's 27 now, so that was 22 years ago, right. And I still think it was yesterday. So
well, there's a lot of first
time
days
flies by when you get old.
That's right. A lot of first days coming up here in a couple weeks, and like I said, we're excited. We just appreciate the support that our community gives us, and we couldn't do it without the support of our parents and our community, and like I said before, I just think we've got just an excellent staff here that does a great job and does it with passion and excitement and enthusiasm, makes it a fun place to be.
Yeah. Well, good luck with the upcoming school year, Mark. Looking forward to what lies ahead here at Wayne Community Schools for 2017 and 18.
Sounds good. We will appreciate your coverage and all that you do for us. And I know we'll be having pep rallies. I'm sure we'll be calling you for those. So.
Yep. I'm ready to go for pep rallies this year. So.
Thanks a lot.
All right. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Voice of Wayne America podcast. I want to thank Mark Lenihan, Superintendent of Schools here at Wayne Community Schools, for taking the time to talk with us. Check back to WayneAmerica.com as we continue to tell the stories of the people who make this the best town in all of America. And that's right here in Wayne America. Have yourselves a good week, and we will see you later.